So I was taking the train from Yonkers, New York, down to Harlem to the school that I was attending every day. And I was taking the railroad, not the subway. And on the railroad, I used to notice that all the people who lived well, educated people, they were reading either the New York Post or the New York Times.
Yes.
And I liked the New York Times because it was like a big paper. And I used to notice how they folded it, you know. There was a little art of how they could fold it from one page to another. I learned how to do that, right? So one day, I was looking across the aisle, and I saw this article. It was a full-page article. It was like, my letter from Mecca, Malcolm X. I was like, wow. So the guy left it on the seat there, and I picked it up. And I read his letter. That was like, for me, I guess that was my calling. Because Malcolm, this was 1964. Malcolm had just finished his pilgrimage, and he wrote this letter, and that was probably one of the biggest points of news that day. That this guy, Malcolm X, who was like a high school dropout, a criminal, had transformed into this minister for the Nation of Islam. He left them, and then he went to Mecca, and then he wrote this letter, and the New York Times was like, wow, this guy transformed like that. So I read that letter, and in that letter he's had about 5 or 6 words that I had never seen before. Mecca, Prophet Muhammad, Kaaba, the Quran, you know, Hajj. And I'm thinking to myself, what? And I was in the spelling bee. I came in 3rd in the national spelling bee. So
yet you had never come across those words.
I had never come across those words. Maybe I had browsed it, but never looked at it. So immediately I circled those little things, and I went home and read those. So when I read those words, I started to understand that Islam, the prophets, the Quran, the Testament, Muhammad, Jesus. Then I saw that Jesus and Muhammad was connected. It wasn't like disconnected, another faith. No, it was all connected from Abraham. So I started to have this transformation because I was well read.